Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm MrTieDye, and today we're going to do an Infinite Love tapestry. I just finished doing an Infinite Love t-shirt. The infinity symbol made out of hearts instead of loops. But on the t-shirt, it kind of made it too complex, and I wasn't able to cover some of the details that I wanted to, so I decided, as soon as I was done, I haven't even edited or washed the t-shirt yet, that I wanted to do it on a tapestry just to make it more plain. And with that, I'm going to start out by using some paper to kind of demonstrate what we're going to do on the tapestry, because initially the tapestry is too big for me to be able to videotape the initial fold of it on camera. So I'm going to use pieces of paper. So to start with, you can take your piece of paper or your tapestry and fold it in half, and then fold it in half again. And that is going to put the infinity symbol, the infinite hearts infinity symbol, running either sideways or up and down. And where you want to draw your heart is going to be on this thick fold here. You don't want to do it on the two skinny folds. You want to do it on the thick fold. The point of this point is the center of the tapestry, and it's going to be the middle of the two hearts. So that's the thing that I'm going to demo. But on the tapestry, the way that I'm going to do it, I want mine running diagonally. So instead of running up and down or sideways, I want mine to run diagonally. So the way that I am folding this tapestry, it's not quite square. So I just folded, I matched up two corners like that on the tapestry. And then I just folded it in half right along that line. And just lined up the rest of the tapestry. And now I can tell just by looking at the creases, but also I can hold this up to the light and see that the piece of paper ends right over here. So there's my edge of the extra hangover on there. And once again, I want to draw my heart on this main crease here, not on these little ones. And let me go ahead and show you why that is right now. So this one here, I have drawn it, and like I say, this here is the thick fold, and I've come down and I've drawn just to the edge. I mean, not right on the point, but I drew it right over to the edge there on the double side there. So let's clip that out, and I'll show you what that is going to look like on your tapestry. You're going to have two hearts for the infinity symbol, that they're going to be connected together, and there's going to be a little bit of space. So depending on how far over you come on your line here, if you finished your line out over here, you're going to have a wider gap, and if you finish it right here, you're going to have a skinnier gap. So that's the thing. But if you go on the other side of the point, then you're going to have two hearts that aren't connected. So this one here, I kind of drew right on the point. But if I go down off of the point here on the fat side of the line and snip that, then, like I say, that opens up. And when you open up your tapestry, there are going to be two hearts on it with a little bit of a gap in between them. And that's because on the tapestry, going on the other side of that line, you didn't connect the two pieces there. So that's the reason go on that side of the line. Also, if you accidentally, instead of drawing on the fat side down here on the bottom, you draw on the side with the two lines, or the two creases, then what you're going to end up with is, oh, I guess you're getting the same thing. You're getting the two hearts. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter which side of that line. In my mind, I was envisioning that separating out. That's just going to change the direction of it the other way. So anyways, that's the thing you want to be careful of. You want to make sure that you come down and leave the space there to connect the two hearts together. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to draw on this line here. I'm going to draw my heart on, and I'm going to come down on this side of the line here, and not this side. So let's just go ahead and jump right to the tapestry now. I have my tapestry folded up just like this. So let's slide this over a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Can you see? Okay, I still can't get all of this in. Okay, so like I say, this tapestry is folded in quarters, just like this one is. Here is my fat crease and my two little creases. This here is the center of the tapestry. So I have folded it up just the same way. One corner over and then that over. And here's my fat crease down on the bottom, right along this line here. So with that in mind now, I'm going to take, I've made a big part template, stencil, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to draw this on here. Once again, I'm making sure that I'm going to bring this down and leave, here we go. So I'm not going to bring my heart all the way down to the very point here. I'm going to go off of this edge, and I'm going to leave just a little bit of a gap, which is going to connect the two hearts together here and make the infinite love symbol. So that's what I'm doing here. I apologize for not being able to show it all on camera. Maybe I can. Hold on a second. Okay. I guess I found a way. I just backed the camera up and lifted it way high so you guys can see the whole layout that I'm doing here. So once again, this is my tapestry. These are the two short folds. This is the big fat fold. And I'm hanging my heart, my stencil off of the edge so that my line is leaving, it looks like just a little bit more than an inch away from that corner there. That's how big I'm doing this. And I made sure that all of my layers of my tapestry are within my stencil range here. The outer range is right there. So we're going to draw this on and then fold it up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is fold up and around. And when I do fold hearts, I always start at the top. So I'm going to fold up and then down around to that point there, and then we'll tie this off and dye it up. And I'm going to do probably about an inch high pleats here. Okay, so there is my infinite hearts there. And the one trick is making sure that you have your lines lined up there. And then on this other side, this is the little peak. I have that lined up right in line with the rest of my thing. Sometimes the thing with the heart is that line can get pulled out when you're tying it. And if it's off to the edge there, then when you tie that, you're missing part of your peak. So that's the one thing you want to make sure of when you're doing hearts, whether it's this or just a plain heart, that you don't lose that peak when you're tying it up. I'm going to flip this around so that I can hold that, but there's that peak, and I'm going to make sure to include that in my tie here. Okay, so I got that secured now, and I'm going to go ahead and rearrange, zoom back in just a little bit, so stay tuned. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now that I kind of have that a little bit secure, I haven't tied it, it's just wrapped a couple times and holding there, but I'm just going to kind of adjust these creases a little bit. I just want to make sure that they're not one folded over top of another, where it's going to create a little bit of an umbrella and block the dye. So I'm just kind of working all of those creases a little bit in there just to make sure that they're all standing up. And I might add just a little bit of a scrunch in there. But I'm being careful since I haven't actually tied that yet. I mean, you could tie that and then play with this as much as you wanted to, but I just want to kind of get this arranged a little bit here. Okay, now that I have that part done, I am going to go ahead and tie this part here in the center, just so that that doesn't loosen up anymore. And then I'm going to adjust the pleats and lay them down a little flatter and then tie the rest of it up. Okay, there is the Infinite Love Tapestry. So I'm going to get some gloves on and we'll put some color on this thing, so stay tuned. Okay, let's get some dye put on this thing. So, Infinite Love. When I think about Infinite Love, I think about the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is in a nice emerald green. So we're going to dye the two hearts in bright, and I'm going to do the outline of the symbol in the emerald green. And then for the rest of the tapestry, I think I'm going to go with a couple shades of turquoise and maybe a little bit of purple in there, and then cover the whole thing with bluebird. So that's going to be my color scheme. Let's set these off to the side for now. We don't want to interfere with their peace and love. I love having those in all of my videos. So let's go to work on some peace and love here. So I got the tapestry. What I'm going to do is dye the outer line to start with. And like I say, in my other video I did use sinew, and you pull it really tight, and that's what my Infinite Love tapestry, where I do just the infinity symbol and I did two hearts, which is what inspired me to do this one with the actual infinity sign out of the hearts. Anyways, I did that one with sinew and I tied it very tightly, and then that created a white line. This one here, I'm actually going to dye that line. So the line that I drew and folded along, this one I'm going to dye in the emerald green. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of the turquoise into the middle of my infinity symbol, which is just going to make the bright green a little bit darker. I just want to add just a little bit of texture in there so I don't have just a solid color. And that's just my own personal preference. You guys can leave it solid. You can do whatever you like with it. But I'm just going to add just a little bit just for a little bit of flair. And sometimes putting this towel down like I just did here, sometimes I'll start out with doing that. Today I forgot to do it, but the towel will help pull, if you're dyeing something that's just barely damp, which this was, it will help pull some of that excess liquid out of there. I especially like to do it when I have multiple layers of fabric. So anyways, that's why I put the towel in there. I know that there's going to be more liquid building up here as I add more layers of color on, especially when I'm doing layers of different colors, just to make sure that I get everything saturated. And I did the little bit of turquoise on the other side. I'm going to do some on this side also. Like I say, it just adds a little bit of extra dark green in there, gives me a little bit of patterning within the design. And this is one, since I have so many layers in there, that I'm going to let this sit for a while before I put it away to batch. I just want to make sure that I have really good saturation, and one way to find that out is to let it sit. And if the dyes soak in and then you start to see little white fibers poking up on the tops here, that's usually an indication that you could use more dye. You could use your cuticle pusher to open up creases, but you can also just leave it sit here, and sometimes it'll also take on almost a dry look instead of it feeling like it's looking like it's wet. If it looks too dry, then that's another time where I'll add another layer of dye. So for now, I'm going to leave this sit for probably 10-15 minutes, and then I'll come back to it and we'll see what else it might need. So see you in 2. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, and just in looking at this, it does have kind of a dry feel, look to it. I can feel the moisture in there, and some of the dye came off there on my hand, but it just looks dry. And I don't see, I can see a few fibers sticking up, but it's not really bad. But I am going to put, I think, one more coat on there. When I look down inside, I can see just a little bit of a lightness. I can see more of the fibers sticking up inside, but I'm not seeing like huge spots of white in there. Just a general lightness. Like, it's not as dark inside as it is on the top. So to me, that's just an indication. And on this other one, since I layered those colors on there, I layered 3 light colors. I did a light turquoise, a regular turquoise, and a light purple, and then I put the blue over top. This one here, if I need to add more, it's going to be one of these lighter colors, because if I add more of the blue, the dark blue, it might soak in and cover up the highlights that I added in there. I wanted just a little bit of those, but if you add too much of the dark blue, you can just completely cover those highlights. So in order to save those, like I say, I can see I have those highlights down inside there. I will probably put another coat of the light turquoise, maybe the dark turquoise, over top. And just because I'm dyeing everything else, I will put more of this emerald, although the emerald I think is looking pretty good. But you don't want any part of your t-shirt or tapestry to be drier than the rest, because the liquid is going to want to equalize within the fabric. So if I put dye here and nothing here, granted there is dye there, but it's going to be wet or drier in the middle than it is here, and those dyes are going to want to spread towards the dry spot. So even if it doesn't need the extra dye, I'm going to put just a little bit just to keep it the same moisture content on both. I hope that makes sense. And I don't feel like putting gloves back on. You guys should glove back up. We're all done with this. I'm going to let it batch for 48 hours, and then you'll be back when I do the rinse and reveal on it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Peace, love, light, and laughter. Good morning and welcome to Hippie Christmas with Mr. Tie-Dye. So today we're doing a variation of the Infinite Love. I had done one where I did the infinity symbol, the two hearts, or I did the full infinity symbol, and then I put two hearts in the corners. Well, this time I made the infinity symbol out of hearts. So I was inspired to do this, but just never got around to it. And then my meditation around the Lion's Gate brought this forward. So actually there's the first one on a t-shirt that you might have already seen. This is the second one where I kind of go in and explain better detail. So hopefully between the two you guys will get a good idea of how to do the infinite love symbol. So there's my half a heart that I did. And let's go ahead, and I don't have room to open the tapestry here, so let me set up. Alright, here we go. Alright, there is the infinite heart symbol. Let me see if I'm going the wrong way. Okay, and I'll get this rinsed, washed, and we'll get it posted in about 2 seconds. You'll see the better picture. Thank you.